Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play LSD. I'm your host CPC Gamer, and in our last episode I totally lost track of time and I kept going for half an hour. And I sure hope you enjoyed that, because I know I did. I'm also super happy that the video took the first time. Now, I don't think that I have ever properly explained this, so I'll go ahead now. LSD is a Japanese game. My Dazzle isn't English. It doesn't like recording Japanese games. So I have to tell my Dazzle that it's recording an American game, and then open up a separate program that tricks my Dazzle into thinking that it is French at the same time as being American. It is a ridiculous workaround, but hey, it works. Sometimes. I mean, sometimes it records a huge pixely mess, and there have been a couple of times when entire episodes have just refused to take, so I've had to re-record them. So if ever I've talked about something that I've said or done in an episode of LSD, but you haven't seen it, that would be why. That, or I'm kind of forgetful and I'm making up my own backstory. So, what am I going to do today? I don't know. That's a very good question, Andy. I'm going to tell you the story about corn. Not really, though. Kinda reminds me, I want to go to Dragon Con as Buzz Killington from Family Guy, largely because I look pretty awesome in a top hat and tails. Oh. Well, hello there, Peacock Platoon. How are you guys doing today? Well enough, I hope. Guy? Oh, there you go. You were letting the team down, Jim. Now, can I get through these guys? Oh, hey, I can. He says. That was just embarrassing. See, this is why I don't feel quite so bad when I forget where I'm going and what I'm doing recording batches of LSD. I forget what I'm doing after 10 minutes of going and getting a sandwich while a raw video processes. Forget 2-3 months ago. Oh, I do remember I was going to talk about this, though. So this could be representative of something disturbing, if you choose to look at it as such. So, we're here in a garden that not so subtly has sex plastered all over the floor, and we have a big, powerful bear chasing after a small, helpless rabbit. Couple this with the fact that we keep dreaming out a big, faceless man that we're trying desperately to forget, things don't get any better. And if you want to read further into the symbolism, and I do because it's me and of course I do, the only other time you see that bear is beside the TV in the cottage. He walks away from an image of the toilets, a room covered in horrible graffiti, and he heads upstairs, except he never really finishes his journey. Also, I've just noticed this woman appears to have a black eye, further supporting my headcanon that it involved a woman getting attacked. Anyways, moving on. Literally, apparently. My idea is that the bear could represent an attacker. Some description of attack, you know, mental, physical, sexual, whatever. Yeah? Actually, let's go see if he's here now. So, my idea is, the woman was attacked in the toilets, which is why the TV shows the toilets covered with horrible monsters and text that says, I'm going to kill, you're going to kill me. And the woman got to watch her attacker leave and go upstairs. This would be why the bear goes upstairs, but never finishes his journey. I mean, as soon as he's out of sight, he stops, because the victim doesn't know what he did next. And I really hope that isn't the case, because that is shockingly dark for a game like this. On the other hand, I'm 99% sure this is just me reading too much into this, but again, it's me. What did you expect? Oh, and I just realised! The bear makes the same sounds as the toilets, so that's another thing that ties the two together. And I really hope this is just me reading too much into things. It's kind of bizarre, because I generally like seeing the horrifying implications of innocent things. Like Animal Crossing has a fun one, which suggests the entire game takes place in your character's head. I mean, if you didn't know, the guy who sells you your house and all your furniture in Animal Crossing is a raccoon named Tom Nook. It's a tanuki pun. And tanuki are huge tricksters in Japanese folklore, and most notoriously, they like to disguise leaves as money or other useful items, clothing or whatever. When you buy something, the icon in your inventory is a leaf, rather than a generic table or chair or whatever. And it only shows up as furniture when you put it down in your house, which Tom Nook sold to you. The implication being that you don't have a fancy collection of beautiful furniture in your house. You have a pile of leaves on the floor that you are perceiving to be a fancy collection of beautiful furniture or whatever. Probably not, because it's just a cute little life sim for kids, but I like the implication. And hey, Animal Crossing has a bunch of sinister things in it. Like, a number of your cute animal pals are named after the food they will eventually become. Like Pate the duck or Benedict the bird. Patty the cow. Also, for some reason there's a MASH reference in there. Like, there's a bird named Pierce who keeps shouting Hawkeye. I don't know, I guess the translation team had fun with it. Anyways, I'm gonna go back to the warehouse and explore. Because the last time I was here I killed a guy. Or maybe not, because he's a ghost. I don't know the logic behind killing something that's already dead. It's one reason the Fatal Frame is as good as it is. You can't kill any of the monsters that can very easily kill you. All you can do is make them go away from a bit. And I'm pretty sure the textures are meant to look like they do, but I like that they don't gel with one another. Like, the face texture doesn't look like it goes with the dotted texture. And that makes the whole thing look kinda... I don't know, broken and dissonant. Well, this sucks. I was kinda hoping to see the little ghosties again. That is clearly the worst and most disturbing part about looking at this screen. I mean, certainly not the roof made out of noses or anything. I feel like I'm in Paranoiascape. I have a copy of that. I should play it. It's this really weird first-person pinball game, except you're bouncing around inside an endless expanse of unblinking eyes and screaming mouths. It's kinda like being inside an H.R. Geiger painting. It's great. And worrying. But great. But worrying. And that's as far as I'm going to take that. I could happily fill up the rest of this video with saying things are simultaneously great and worrying, but that wouldn't be very funny, so let's go back to me saying words. I see you there, Rifleman Dan. Don't think I don't. Although I'm glad you're facing that way. Gives me an opportunity to try something. Wonder if you can trigger him by going close to him, regardless as to where you are. Namely, will he try and shoot me through the walls? Looks like no. Which is surprising, given how the game usually works. Well, I learned something today. And that thing is that I assume the programmers did a really lazy job with most of the things contained in the game. I wonder if that reflects on my work. He says, as he played somebody else's video game instead of making his own because studying is hard. Wait, am I on the stockroom floor? I think I am. Why is there no stock in the rooms? Man, maybe it's like being at work. Bit of a pro tip for you viewers who do not work in retail. Never ask, do you have one of these in the back? Because the answer is no. Like, we don't get stock in so that we don't try to sell it to you. Though to be fair, I'm entirely used to people not thinking before they speak. Like, I had so many people say to me, wow, it's crazy they're making you work on Christmas Eve. And yeah, crazy. You know, it's almost like you are also here, sir. Buying £300 worth of Christmas gifts. Apparently you don't understand how our relationship works. And now I've made myself sad, so I'm gonna go down the pit and call do-over on this conversation. I have been trying my best to talk about stuff other than work while doing these, because this is not work to me. You know, this is what I do outside of work for fun, and I don't want to merge the two. And it's one reason I'm glad I don't monetize my videos. I wouldn't want to feel obligated to do this for people, rather than just doing it because I enjoy it. Anyway, day 233. we are pushing 2/3 of the way through the game, which seems like a pretty good milestone for me. I don't know why, because we passed the halfway mark quite some time ago, and the halfway mark is the important one, at the point beyond which you are closer to being done than when you were at the beginning. And I'm sorry, I just wanted to keep quiet so I could bring the game audio up for a couple seconds. This music sounds pretty good. It sounds like what a machine thinks a heartbeat is. Oh, man. Are you even meant to be there? I wouldn't have thought so. Maybe this is how you see the back end of that guy's model clipping outside the building. Probably not, because if you trip and mash your face into the wall, but, you know, something like that. But hey, it has happened once, it will happen again. That's basically how this game works, right? Keeps you going with the promise of more to come. Otherwise known as a carrot on a stick. And generally, I don't like that. When a game promises it gets better later, I kinda want to ask, why is it not good now? But LSD kinda has something that makes me ignore it. I think the fact that there's not a great deal going on, and it's very open-ended for me to make up my own storyline. And what a storyline! You know, I like the alien sleep study idea, because it gives the game a lot of depth beyond what you are shown, and it employs one of my favourite tropes, where the main character of the game is not the main character in what's going on. Everybody else has bigger and more important problems than you do. And I know I'm never going to catch those guys. You physically can't. But it's nice to chase after them anyway. And I wonder why that's a common theme in dreams, running after something you can never catch. Probably some kind of representation of real life. I mean, that kind of thing never really shows up in my dreams. I most often dream that some huge unknown threat is coming for me, and I physically can't run fast enough to get away. Or move at all. I don't know. I mean, I put the previous night's dream in each of these videos. You can see what my brain decides I need to see. I decide to see something else. I mean, nothing else was happening while I explored, so it's time for a do-over. And again, what is going on with the music here? I mean, part of it has to be that I'm not entirely used to what the patterns sound like at the temple, but this sounds quite broken. Yeah, seriously, that's all I've got. Listen to this, what the hell is this? If the game's glitching, I hope it stops doing it to the music and starts doing it to the graphics. I mean, I've seen some instances where the game loads entirely the wrong tile set and model set. Everything looks hilariously broken. Although... Now here's a thought. What happens if I go back outside? Will the music and stuff have repaired itself? Or will it still be a horrible mess? It sounds a lot better, if I'm honest. This is some horror game music right here. Listen to this. Okay, down the pit. I don't think this is going to be a recurring thing in this particular video, but it helped me set up a stable dream loop last time. And apparently this trend is not continuing today. What the heck is going on with this ridiculous game? You know, would you believe this is not the game that made me put my controller down and go, what am I doing with my life, before going for a little walk outside? That would be Party Girls for the PS2. It's just... it's so bad! And not in the Power Glove way either, it is just straight up awful. But it is actually making me physically upset to sit here and think about it and the fact that it's on my shelf over there. Right there. I'm pointing with my hand. I specifically stopped bowing my head so I could point, even though you guys can't see it. So I'm going to put my head back down now. So yeah, Party Girls is a Mario Party affair, except all the characters are girls in bikinis. And they wrote up a huge bio for each one. Like, they expected it to be a super smash hit, but then it just didn't go anywhere. Most notably, it is the first appearance of Reiko Mizusaki, my second favourite character in the Onii-Chambara series, and her twin sister Kyoko, who they keep mentioning as somebody who totally exists, you guys. She's having these amazing off-screen adventures, and they're super amazing, and they've got the best graphics and the biggest budget. Yeah, I'm not lying. It's a really bizarre character arc, I think. Because, I mean, Reiko started off as the one with the second biggest breasts in a trashy party game, and then she got superpowers, and then she was her own clone army, and occasional DLC superstar in a series of zombie killing games. Something occurs to me. The fact that the car is beeping its horn probably means the driver is already dead. I mean, if they were hit such that they fell forwards, they'd put pressure on the accelerator and horn at the same time. Also, the car leans back when it jumps, which would mean the driver has been thrown backwards off the steering wheel, which is why the beeping stops. Oh, and how's that? The underneath of the harbour has visible geometry, even though it's bland support structures. I like how I can juxtapose my amateur forensics hour with a game architecture and play it off like I didn't just work out the exact sequence of events in a murder. It's like in Condemned 2, a thoroughly dreadful game. It's got a couple of really subtly creepy moments to it, especially when it has these little crime scenes for you to investigate, and it rewards you for getting the questions right, but then it makes you realize just how much you know about murdering guys just from looking at a corpse and some track marks, you know? They even draw attention to it, too. It says, like, okay, here is your achievement for getting you some points, but, dude, how do you know this stuff? You okay? And then it ruins all the tension by giving your character Super Saiyan powers, and you just finish the game with a literal shouting match on top of a skyscraper. Kinda ruins the mood. I think the Ghosts in Warehouse 1 have superseded the Ghosts in Warehouse 2. Mainly because the little guys actually show up sometimes. Oh, I worry so about my little ones. Oh man, could you imagine if this whole thing is an alien sleep experiment, except the whole thing is being run by Shodan? That'd be great. I love cross-promotional theories like that. Like, one of my favourites suggests that the Suffering and Persona take place in the same universe. Specifically, the theory says that Torque is a Persona user. Now, if you don't know, every character in Persona has a creature that fights alongside them. And the creature reflects the true nature of the person summoning them, which, in the case of the Suffering's lead character, is a gigantic slab of muscle that will kill anything at a moment's notice. Also, the creature you can summon will sometimes change, and it grows as you go through defining moments in your life. Like in Persona 3, one guy's persona looks like a toy to begin with, and it grows to look more like a weapon as the game proceeds, as he realizes what he can do with his power. And in The Suffering 2, Torque can transform into any one of, I think it's 9 different monster designs, depending on your karma meter and how you've been playing the game thus far, reflecting his true personality in face of his deeds. And for a moment I thought you were out here in the desert. Land sharks are not something I want to see, game, so... You know what? I will thank you to cut that mess out. Way to clip through the rocks, shark. Don't let the system keep you down. But yeah, the fact that The Suffering and Persona both let you summon a creature to fight in your place, and that said creature adapts to your personality, makes me think the two series take place in the same universe. I mean, games that do take place in the same universe don't make that much sense, you know? Street Fighter, Final Fight, and VR Troopers take place in the same universe, so you've got a super serious martial arts tournament, with 2 entrants who once fought off a demon zombie uprising, taking place 2 towns over from crazy lightsaber fights. Pretty weird. And because of that, Capcom likes to pretend the whole mess doesn't exist. But it does. It's out there. They have to deal with it. Or, more accurately, the fans have to deal with it with ludicrously intricate flowcharts. And that is not quite the link I'd intended to make, but whatever. The park doesn't want to play anyway. Words rhyme. It's no crime, you slime. Okay, so one of my favourite things is finding ludicrous rhymes in songs. And one of my favourites is a Timbaland song, which runs, "Ain't got a motorboat, but I can still float your boat." It's so stupid. And there's another one. Another one comes in "Like a Friend" by Pulp, which at one point rhymes the words face and age. Not entirely sure how, but they do. And I'm not entirely sure, but I think the flower god is meant to be around here somewhere. I am sure that if you chart the places in the natural world wherein I have said that, then I've covered pretty much the entire area. Even the grassy bits where stuff doesn't even show up. In fact, yeah, this is meant to be the rocky area, I'm sure, because of the footsteps. It's hard to tell, because it looks like the land of supremely comfortable quilts. Quilt's a word I'm never entirely comfortable saying, because the more I say it, the more it sounds like an insult. Like, you pathetic, mewling quilt! You know? Spigot is another one. It's another one of those words where the more and more you look at it, it looks less and less like a word. And this is how body image issues start. I should stop noun shaming. I'm sorry. I prefer adjectives. They're more well-rounded and flexible. And this is why I should stop playing this game for long stretches. All my weird vocabulary-based turn-ons have come out, and now I can't put that genie back in the bottle. And that thing looks like a gelatinous cube. Like, that is one of my favourite D&D monsters. My friends and I have this habit of running D&D campaigns with the most ludicrous monsters possible. Like, there's this one that's a giant werewolf, except it's got eagle's wings instead of arms, and it is rainbow-coloured. It's pretty great. It's called the Senmerv, and you can just tell it was designed by somebody who owns a dream catcher and smells of sandalwood. You know? I think I'm next to the cliff face again. I mean, obviously, because that was a cliff face made of Cliff's face, but I meant the giant head that sent me to Happy Town in the first place. Turns out I wasn't, but this signpost will tell me where to go. Literally anywhere, eh? Okay, duly noted. Man, that sign with ellipse on it is really friggin' weird and out of place with this tile set. It's a shame I looked into the game's mechanics and I know how the textures work, because it would be super fun to see. Okay, this melting turtle covered in bleeding eyes is also pretty creepy and weird, and it doesn't at all gel with the sticker sheet upon which we were walking. Almost a shame it made me link like that. But at least they had the good grace to shove me in the floor. I've missed this game running badly, to be honest with you. The complete lack of jank does not sit well with me. And running is a bad idea. Grey Man likes to spawn here, and if he doesn't, Grey Dog does. And the dog is scary, because he actually does something tangible. Oh, yeah, this is something I was going to say in the last video, but I got distracted. Splendid Man is not a scary monster, and he never has been. I mean, intrigue and ambiguity can be fun with a monster, but not when it comes to the threat they pose to you. You know that if, I don't know, Pyramid Head catches you, he is going to stab you. If Freddy gets you, he is going to kill you in an ironic way and deliver a brilliant one-liner and then laugh, and it's going to be hilarious. Now, Slender Man, in the most popular lore, just kinda stands in the middle distance of people's pictures or trolls terrible independent filmmakers on YouTube, and that's not scary. I mean, I know I'm late to the party with this one, and I'm taking awkward swipes at something whose popularity far exceeds my own. That's how it goes for me. I'm not scared. I make jokes about how he doesn't like sugar in his tea because he's a Splendor Man. I also curse the fact that I now cannot release my story about the tall woman of the hexagon without people thinking I stole a name. And that's what I get for being a perfectionist, I suppose. Whoa! Okay, moving away from you. Thank you very much. I'm pretty good on the trigger today. I like that. I like that. Now let's hope he doesn't spawn in front of me again like the last couple times, because I think the game's just screwing me when he does that. Don't like it. Do not like it. Oh. Well, never mind what I'm going to do next then. That's pretty handy. Okay, join me next time for some more LSD. And until next time, goodbye.